Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing well. Today, we are going to learn a very important and interesting topic in data science, and that topic is hyperdimensional computing. Don't worry if this name sounds difficult right now. I will explain everything step by step, just like a teacher explains in a classroom, so that you can understand it clearly without confusion. First of all, let us understand what hyperdimensional computing actually means. Hyperdimensional computing is a modern computing technique inspired by the human brain. In normal computing, we work with small numbers, variables, or low-dimensional data. But in hyperdimensional computing, we represent information using very large vectors that have thousands of dimensions. These vectors are called hypervectors. You don't need to imagine all the dimensions visually. Just understand that more dimensions mean more space to store and compare information efficiently. Now, you may ask why we need hyperdimensional computing in data science. In traditional data science and machine learning, models like deep learning need a lot of data, high processing power, and more time for training. They also consume a lot of energy. Hyperdimensional computing solves many of these problems. It can learn very fast, it needs less data, and it works well even when the data is noisy or incomplete. That is why it is becoming popular in areas like IoT, edge computing, and real-time systems. The idea of hyperdimensional computing comes from how our brain works. Our brain does not store information in a single neuron. Instead, it spreads information across many neurons. Similarly, in hyperdimensional computing, information is distributed across thousands of dimensions. Because of this distributed nature, even if some data is lost or disturbed, the system still works correctly. This makes hyperdimensional computing very reliable for real-world data science problems. Now let us understand how hyperdimensional computing works. It mainly uses three simple operations. The first operation is encoding. Encoding means converting raw data into hypervectors. For example, if you have numbers, text, sensor values, or features from a dataset, each of these is converted into a high-dimensional vector. Each feature gets its own unique representation, which helps the system understand and differentiate data clearly. The second operation is binding. Binding is used to connect two pieces of information together. For example, if we want to represent that a temperature is high, we bind the hypervector of temperature with the hypervector of high. This helps in representing relationships between data. Binding is very useful when working with structured data, like records, attributes, and values. The third operation is bundling. Bundling means combining multiple hypervectors into one. This is usually done by adding vectors together and then normalizing them. Bundling is used to store patterns and learn from data. For example, all features of one data record can be bundled into one hypervector. Similarly, data samples of the same class can be bundled to create a class representation. This is how learning happens in hyperdimensional computing, and it does not require complex training algorithms. Now let us talk about how hyperdimensional computing is used in data science. One major use is classification. It is used in text classification, image recognition, speech recognition, and medical diagnosis. Because it learns very fast, it is very useful when we have less data. Another important use is time series analysis. Data like sensor readings, ECG signals, and financial data change over time, and hyperdimensional computing can capture these patterns efficiently. Hyperdimensional computing is also very effective in anomaly detection. In areas like cybersecurity, fraud detection, and machine fault detection, we need to identify unusual behavior. Hyperdimensional computing can easily detect when new data is very different from learned patterns. Since it is noise tolerant, it reduces false alarms and gives more reliable results. When we compare hyperdimensional computing with deep learning, we can clearly see some advantages. Deep learning models take more time to train, need large datasets, and consume more power. They are also difficult to explain. Hyperdimensional computing, on the other hand, is easy to understand, fast to train, energy efficient, and works well on low-power devices. That is why it is very suitable for modern data science applications. Finally, let us talk about the future of hyperdimensional computing. Many big companies and research institutions are working on this technology. In the future, It will be used in smart devices, wearable technology, autonomous systems, and brain-inspired artificial intelligence. For data science students and professionals, learning hyperdimensional computing means staying updated with next-generation AI technologies. So to conclude, hyperdimensional computing is a powerful and simple approach to handle complex data science problems. It is inspired by the human brain. It is fast, efficient, and easy to understand. I hope this explanation helped you understand the topic clearly. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.